Welcome to this explainer. Have you ever woken up and immediately felt this heavy, almost suffocating wave of anxiety wash over you, literally before your feet even hit the floor? The alarm goes off and instantly, bam, 100 different demands start pulling at you from every single direction before you've even had a chance to fully open your eyes. It is such a universal, incredibly common modern problem. We wake up and the stress is just sitting right there, waiting for us at the edge of the bed. Okay, let's dive into this and explore how we can fundamentally change that dynamic through the power of morning prayer to truly establish our focus for the day. So I've got to ask, what actually gets your first attention? I want you to really evaluate your own morning routine for a second here. When you wake up, where does your very first burst of mental energy go? Does it go straight into the worries of the day? Are you jumping right into your inbox or doom scrolling the news? Or does that energy go to something higher? How we answer this question absolutely dictates the focus for our entire day. Let's look at how this builds. Section 1, the morning rush. This is the mental routine so many of us fall into the absolute second we wake up. We're checking notifications right from the nightstand, mentally listing out all our scheduled demands, rehearsing problems that haven't even happened yet, and calculating all the resources we feel like we're missing. It's just pure mental clutter, right? And this is exactly why so many of us feel terribly anxious in the morning and then completely, totally drained by noon. It's simply because the noise of the day was allowed to take the front seat from minute 1. Section 2, David's starting point. Consider the ancient precedent of King David. This was a guy who handled immense, crushing daily pressures. We're talking literal battles, deep betrayals, and massive leadership burdens. Yet he chose a completely different rhythm to handle the weight of his mornings. In Psalm 5:3, he says, "O Lord, in the morning you hear my voice. In the morning, I prepare a sacrifice for you and watch." David's absolute first instinct was to see the morning as a gift and a choice. He deliberately brought his day to God before the day had a chance to take its own chaotic shape. So breaking that rhythm down, we get go to God first, pray, and then wait and pay attention. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is that third step. David didn't just rattle off a quick prayer like it was a chore on a checklist and then rush out into the chaos. No, he waited. He actually paid attention to what God would do next, and that perfectly contrasts with our modern world, which, let's be honest, utterly refuses to wait for us to be ready. It's a pretty stark choice, giving the morning to your worries versus giving the morning to God first. Think about it. If God only gets what is left over of your morning, well, it's never going to be much, is it? You'll just be kind of dragging him along in the background as you panic. But giving the morning to him first, that sets a foundation of unshakable focus rather than a foundation of frantic catching up. Section 3, committing the day. So how do we actually do this? How do we hand over all this anxiety and practically establish our focus? Well, we can look at the incredible wisdom found in Proverbs 16:3. Commit your work to the Lord and your plans will be established. And this brilliantly illustrates the real scope of what we're supposed to do. Notice that we are supposed to hand over all our work before it even unfolds. The verse doesn't say, commit your really big things, or only the urgent things you can't figure out. It says, commit your work, all of it, the whole shebang. Let's define exactly what that word means in this context. Commit, a deliberate act of placing what you are about to carry into hands that are far more capable than yours. Unpacking this definition is absolutely crucial. Committing isn't just, wishing for a good day. It is a full, intentional handing over that clears your mental slate. It shifts the heavy lifting off your own limited strength and totally prevents you from carrying weights that start to feel permanent and overwhelming. So if we pull straight from the guided prayer in our source material, we see this really beautiful direct exchange. Got a bunch of crazy appointments and deadlines? Lay them out before him. Are you dreading a specific conversation today? Seek his words before you even open your mouth. Facing uncertain finances? Trust his provision. Navigating some strained relationships? Ask for his peace right up front. Laying these specific items down allows God's wisdom to lead, rather than letting our own frantic reasoning or fear drive our focus. Section 4, a shift in perspective. You see, this ancient practice of morning prayer isn't merely about surviving a jam-packed daily schedule. It is about achieving a fundamental spiritual shift in your perspective. The prophet Isaiah captured this perfectly when he said, "He wakens me morning by morning, wakens my ear to listen like one being instructed." God wakes us up not just to get us out of bed so we can start grinding away at our to-do list. He wakes us to instruct us, to prepare us, to give us exactly what we need before we step out the door into whatever is waiting. But we have to come with an open ear. This creates such a vital exchange. If we miss this morning rhythm, if we skip the pause, we enter the day startled, undone, and carrying all our own heavy baggage. But if we engage, if we take that time, we go out carrying the peace and the instruction that He prepared specifically for us. Because prayer doesn't just prepare you for the day, it fundamentally changes the way you see it. So the crucial point is this: when you speak to the Father before the day has a chance to speak to you, everything that comes after just sits differently. You establish deep down in your spirit that you aren't facing the hours ahead alone. The one who knows every single hour of this day is already at work in it. Of this kind of morning focus are just profound. It literally quiets the anxiety in your mind. It replaces that creeping panic with solid peace, and it trades all that exhausting striving for genuine trust. And beautifully, it makes you truly present for other people. Slowing down your spirit allows peace to stand guard over your thoughts. You actually start to notice the purposeful moments God has prepared for you, rather than just seeing people as, loud interruptions to your super busy schedule. I want to wrap up this explainer with a pretty provocative question. Will you let God instruct you today, or the world? I want you to think really deeply about whose voice you will allow to set the tone for your spirit tomorrow morning. Before you grab the phone, before the news turns on, before the schedule takes over, bring your day to Him. The choice of focus is entirely yours.